Okay, you know the feeling. It's 3 in the morning, the world is totally silent, but your brain is just screaming. It's playing this greatest hits collection of every mistake you've ever made, every worry you have, every awkward thing you've ever said. So we're going to break down exactly why that happens, and even better, a super simple, two-step, science-backed way to shut that whole thing down for good.
I mean, it is exactly like being trapped in your own head, right? You're forced to watch this movie you absolutely did not buy a ticket for. You know, that one conversation from last week, that email you probably shouldn't have sent, that huge decision that's coming up. Somehow it all just feels world-ending in the middle of the night.
So yeah, what is actually going on here? Is your brain just broken? Well, it turns out this isn't some random glitch in the system. It's not just you. There's a really predictable process happening inside your brain, and once you get the why, mastering the how to stop it becomes so much easier. And that whole process, it starts right here. Now, this is maybe the most important thing you're going to hear. That 3 a.m. anxiety spiral, it is not a personal failing. It is not a character flaw. It has nothing to do with you being weak or broken. It's just about your brain's chemistry when it's running on fumes. So let's get into the chemistry of it. During the day, your brain is just constantly getting these little hits of dopamine, right? From your phone, from talking to people, from getting stuff done. But then at night, poof, all that external stimulation just disappears. So your brain gets bored and it starts craving a fix. And what it does is, well, it's kind of fascinating. It turns inward. Just like you might mindlessly scroll social media looking for a little hit of something, your brain starts scrolling through your own anxieties to create its own buzz. And of course, this kicks off a really nasty, vicious cycle. The stimulation from the day stops, your dopamine levels just tank, and your brain goes hunting for a quick fix. So it latches onto a worry, it replays it over and over, and it gets this tiny, totally unhelpful little jolt of dopamine, which just tells it, hey, do that again, and again, and again. And that, right there, is the rumination loop. That's what keeps you staring at the ceiling. And as if that wasn't bad enough, you're trying to deal with this whole loop with, let's just say, a compromised flight crew. It's almost like you have two completely different brains trying to operate when you're tired. Okay, so here is the absolute heart of the problem. You've got your amygdala, that's your emotional, is that a tiger, threat-detecting part of your brain, and it is wide awake and on high alert. But at the same time, your prefrontal cortex, the logical, rational CEO of your brain, has basically punched its time card and gone home for the night. So what are you left with? All emotion and zero reason. So I really want you to let this sink in for a second. Lying awake with your mind racing doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's not a flaw. It's just straight-up neurochemistry. It's a totally predictable result of what's happening in your brain at that specific moment. And once you know that, it suddenly becomes crystal clear why our go-to strategy is just doomed to fail. What do we usually do? We try to fight back, right? We try to reason with our anxiety, to solve the problems our brain is screaming about. But it is literally the worst possible time to do that. Just think about this for a second. You are literally operating at half of your normal cognitive capacity. Your rational brain is pretty much offline. So trying to solve these big, complex, emotional, or work problems in this state, it's like trying to do your taxes after, a couple glasses of wine. It's just not going to work. Any solution you come up with is going to be shaky at best. All right, so if fighting your brain is a losing battle, then what does work? What you need is a totally new strategy. A simple, almost mechanical process that works with your brain chemistry, not against it. And that's what we're calling the two-step shutdown. And yeah, it really is that simple. Just 2 steps. Each one does something totally different. Step 1 is all about breaking that anxiety loop. And step 2 is about gently guiding your brain back to sleep. So let's get into it. So step 1 is the cognitive offload. You're going to grab a notebook, maybe just the Notes app on your phone, and for every single thought that's spinning around in your head, you write down just one sentence. I'm serious. No paragraphs. No trying to solve it. Just give it a label, like worried about that client meeting or stressed about money. That is it. You're not trying to solve it. You're just acknowledging that it's there. So what's the magic here? Well, your brain is stuck on these thoughts because, on some level, it's terrified it's gonna forget something super important. So by writing them down, you're basically making a little contract with your brain. You're sending a signal that says, hey, I've got this, it's captured, you can power down now.
And yeah, there's actually a scientific name for this. It's called cognitive closure.
As soon as your brain feels like a task is complete, and in this case, complete just means writing down the worry, it can finally release it. Just the physical act of getting the thought out of your head and onto a page is what shatters that rumination loop we were talking about.
Okay, so the loop is broken. Now what? You've got to give your brain a new, and more importantly, a non-anxious place to hang out. And that brings us to step 2, the body scan redirect. You're just going to bring your attention to the very top of your head, and then slowly, so slowly, move it down your body. Notice your forehead, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. And here's the key. You are not trying to relax. You are simply noticing whatever sensations are there.
And of course, there's some really cool neuroscience behind why this works so well. All that nighttime worry, it lives in a part of your brain that we can call story mode. It's technically the default mode network. But the body scan, that manually activates a totally different part of your brain, the sensory cortex, or sensation mode. And here is the magic trick. Anxious thoughts, which are basically just stories, they literally cannot survive in the part of your brain that's just focused on physical feeling. You are manually changing the channel in your brain.
And when you practice this, you're really doing more than just surviving one bad night. You are actively training your brain. You're teaching it a whole new way to respond when it inevitably wakes you up at 3 in the morning.
And this really pulls back the curtain on the illusion of nighttime anxiety, doesn't it? I mean, 90% of the stuff that feels like a 5-alarm fire at 3 a.m. By morning, it's barely a flicker. The problem didn't change overnight. Your brain chemistry did. Your threat detection system just got a reset button, thanks to a little bit of rest.
I mean, when you really look at it side by side, the difference is just it's dark. At night, your rational brain is offline. Your threat detector is going haywire, and your brain's primary job is simply to rest. Problem solving, that's a daytime job. That's for when you have all your tools online. Your only job at night is to help your nervous system chill out and recharge.
So, ultimately, it all comes down to this. We have to stop treating sleep like it's something that just happens to us. It's a skill. It's something you can practice and get better at. And by using this two-step method, the cognitive offload and the body scan, you're not just fighting off a bad night. You're actively training your brain for better sleep night after night after night. You're the one taking back control.